Yes, so most welcome to this session, the first out of 3 sessions for today's Halland Tech Meet. My name is Anna Pettersson. I work at High5 as head of innovation, and today I'm going to lead you through the conversation where we're going to talk about drones and the possibilities that lies within this new type of technology. At least we find it new, and we're also going to meet a couple of people who are actually working with it in their daily life. So High5, for those of you who doesn't know us, we are an innovation arena in Halland, and we run 2 incubators. We work with startups and students, and we have a project arena where we work with different projects for the established companies in the region of Halland, and we also have a meeting arena with a digital and physical meeting place, so to say. So today we're going to talk about drones. With me, I have Alexander, Umar, and Jimmy, who will be presenting themselves very, very soon. And I think that the reason for this conversation today is that a couple of weeks ago, Sweden's first commercial drone flight was actually conducted in Tylösand in Halland. And that was a pilot project to highlight the need for smart mobility and new sustainable transport methods that we so much need in the society today with the challenges that we do have. And that then, of course, then these types of new ways of mobility can continue to reduce climate impact and increased accessibility. So what we're going to talk about today is what does the future of drones really look like, and what kind of services can we expect, and also a little bit about what are the biggest challenges running a company in an industry in such a big change that it is. So very much looking forward to that. Just to give you all an introduction of the impact and the size of this technology, the market size for ETVOL solutions, which is then the classification where drones are in, is estimated to $1 trillion US dollars by 2040, and that is the base case, and $4 trillion US dollars in the bull case, and that is a survey that is done by Morgan Stanley. So the market potential is huge, and there is a lot of interesting applications that can be used. So with that said, I'm not going to do most of the talking today, but I will leave that over to the panelists. Alexander Perrien, you are the CEO and the co-founder of Erit, the company that was actually making this first commercial flight in Sweden. We're gonna, before you present yourself, we're gonna look at a small video clip just to see what it is that you actually do. No, that's not, yeah.
Idag ska vi flyga drönare, Sveriges första kommersiella drönarleverans.
Very excited. I mean, we've been working for this for a long time. We've done all the testing. We have perfect weather conditions are optimal, so I'm really excited. Yeah.
Det ska bli kul att se den här jättedrönaren lyfta och ta med ett paket mat från fantastiska restauranger bakom ner till stranden när klipporna ner.
Yeah, we're just kind of been back and forth around completely autonomous. The whole flight, the landing, the takeoff is fantastic, and that's just that's what we're shooting for. So it's great to see that everything you planned and tested works in a real situation.
Fantastic! I love the gesture that you do in the end when you find out that it's actually succeeded. So Alexander, please tell me a little bit about yourself and about Erit, what you do.
Sure. My name is Alexander Perrien. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Erit. We're a sustainable drone delivery service based in Stockholm, Sweden. We started working on the project last November, actually. I was looking for a drone team to build a delivery service using drones, and I reached out to KTH here in Stockholm to their innovation program, and they actually pointed me to a group of master's researchers who were working on an amphibious drone project at the time. And we met up and were discussing commercial applications for drones, and we really hit it off and then started this company. We were founded in January and basically spent the rest of the year developing the drone, learning about the regulations required, the permits that we needed. And we were actually contacted by Jimmy, who works with Region Halland. I'm sure he'll introduce himself in a moment, with this great opportunity to work with them to conduct Sweden's first commercial drone delivery. Yeah.
Great, thank you. There are so many questions, but we're going to jump into those
Sure.
very soon. So I think we could see also one other person who is in this conversation today in the movie that we just saw, and you also introduced Jimmy. Jimmy Sandberg, you work as a marketing manager at Invest in Halland, and you're also a project manager there. So please tell me a little bit about what you do and why you find this important.
Yes, hi, nice to be here today. My name is Jimmy. As you said, I'm the marketing manager of Invest in Halland, and also, as you said, a project manager, more a project manager in this kind of projects when we work with Erit. I've been working close to Alex and his team during this first commercial drone delivery. I've been learning a lot, and I think the region also has been learning a lot about drones and what is happening. So I think that's the main, aim to just learn more and see what we at the region can do for these entrepreneurs that looking for a place to, or as a test arena to test their products. We're also trying to connect different entrepreneurs that would gain from this technology, of course. And also, of course, as a marketing manager, I'm really interested in showing Halland as an innovation arena and an interesting region to establish your business at, of course. So there's a couple of different drives there, I would say.
Good, thank you. And then we also have with us third person, Umar Chughtai. You are the CTO, so the Chief Technical Officer and co-founder at Skycraft. You also work with drones, obviously, but for another very, very interesting applications. We're going to talk to you very soon, but first we're going to look at the movie. We're going to find at least another type of drone. So let's look at that first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. Great, thank you. So Umar, you work at Skycraft. So please tell us a little bit about what you do and your application where you use drone as one of the parts of your service.
Absolutely, thanks, Anna. So hi, my name is Umar. I'm the Chief Technical Officer of Skycraft. And Skycraft was founded in March 2019 through the Antler Venture Capital Program. And we're three founders. We have a CEO and a CMO. And what Skycraft focuses on is the long-range infrastructure inspection through AI. So what we do is we use drones as a source of collecting data. And from all the data that we collect, we run our machine learning algorithms to detect any faults in the infrastructure that we're inspecting. And right now we're focusing on power lines. And we have flown about 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers of power lines in Sweden till date. And we're flying for customers such as Vattenfall, E.ON, Alivio. We've done pilot projects for all of these 3 big giants. And we've also expanded into gas and oil pipelines. And the video that we just saw, that was a gas pipeline in Skåne, actually, which we flew back in November. So yeah, we're at this stage, we're in the process of kind of expanding into different markets, such as gas pipelines, maybe solar farms one day. And we're just in the process of refining our machine learning product, because that is our key, key delivery to our customers. And yeah, the drones are a source of data that fuel our algorithms.
Yeah, fantastic. So super interesting. And thank you very much, all 3 of you, for joining in today. So I think, Umar, just to take off where you talked a little bit about like the possibilities with new techniques, and that's what I find so fascinating is like to find new ways and to have more sustainable solutions. I mean, in your case, today, the power lines are inspected by helicopters, right?
Yes. And that's a big problem, because a lot of our customers, they complain that, you know, they get a lot of complaints by the government that they're using non-sustainable methods, and also kind of dangerous methods when it comes to human factors. Because when they're inspectors sitting in a helicopter, they're flying at about, I think, 30 to 40 meters above ground, because you have to be that close for the human eye to see any defects on the power line or any infrastructure. That altitude, if something goes wrong, like a mechanical failure or, you know, anything, there's very little margin for error in that sense. There have been accidents in the past where Vattenfall actually lost a pilot and, you know, critically injured an inspector. And this was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, sustainability is also one aspect that they don't like about helicopters, and it's also like the human factors. And that's what we're trying to revolutionize with drones.
Yeah. Fantastic. So if we start with like some visionary pictures of where we're heading, I mean, Alex, from your perspective, how do you see the future with drones? When will we actually see drones in the air, and when can we tell us a little about your vision, not from your perspective?
Absolutely. So right now, after we completed the first drone delivery, so in the beginning of 2021, the EU passed several regulations came into effect that provide a very clear regulatory picture for drone delivery across the EU. And so our vision is to create a network of autonomous sky couriers that can basically pick up and drop off parcels, food, medicine, anything on demand, right? And we're going to start delivering to the suburbs and rural areas, probably Q2 next year, with some smaller select projects in select communities where the operations add a lot of value to those that are living there, and then we'll slowly work our way towards more urban areas in 2023 when some of the UTM unmanned traffic management systems come online across Europe. Yeah.
And Umar, what's your take on the future of drones? From different perspective, I guess. You are all interested in the technique and the possibilities as such. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a lot in line with what Alex said, because when UTM comes out, it's like really exciting for us as well, because then you have drones as like a really accepted way into, you know, the authorities' eyes, in the sense that you can just fly a drone and take that anywhere. And you kind of like overcome the whole thing about permits. So if drones are accepted by authorities and they're integrated into, like, you know, the transport system or the FAA system somehow, that you can just take off and just fly wherever you want in a really safe and acceptable manner, I think that would be great. So seeing the sky full of drones in a really well integrated way, that would be a really nice vision to see.
Yeah. And Region Halland, we are quite a small region, and we don't have big cities. And what do you see as a region, and having also many people living on the countryside? And we talk about what do you think? Why is it important for people living not in the big cities as well and out in the
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Halland is a logistical hub. We have an important, playing an important part in the corridor between Oslo and Germany, of course, and Copenhagen. And we'd like to add to that projects that are actually working with mobility and sustainable mobility, of course. And as you said, we're looking into areas as the rural part of Halland to make, as you said, Alex, valuable deliveries to our people living there. So that's also an important part of this project, or the aim of this project is to start a movement within this. And of course, I think that the region's part in it is to actually do what we're doing here, to try to collaborate and to try to find entrepreneurs that would like to be a part of this and to work in Halland. And also, of course, you guys at High Five and other financial institutes as Almi, for example. So we're trying to get the collaboration going here, and we're just it's just starting. We're just at the start of this project, but I think that I see a lot of movements now. I see a lot of people that is interested in joining this, and so I think that the first step is to actually find a good arena to work within. So yeah, that's important for us.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, we have to jump just a little bit into this in the future as well, but what is actually happening now, as you said, like what is allowed to be done is like the regulations that are changing and so on, but there are also like bigger companies and drivers. Alex, you mentioned in the beginning here before we started to actually talk, we had a pre-discussions. Could you just fill us in about that, as that also is an important movement?
Absolutely. So across Europe right now, there are several drone delivery companies that are already up and carrying out these projects. And so it is possible. It's entirely something that is happening today, right? We're looking to scale our operations right now. We're fundraising actively with the aim of being able to grow this service across Sweden in the future. I think there are definitely some companies, Google, for instance, has active operations in Helsinki, and a number of other ones here in the EU, and then of course in the United States, they had a little bit more restrictive regulations that the FAA enforced for the drone space. So the EU is actually a very interesting place to explore drone delivery and gain experience as an operator. One of the key requirements for anybody in the drone space is to have a lot of operational experience, not only from being able to fly or run the systems that control the drone, but also maintenance, safety, training. There are a lot of key aspects to this. So being able to get off the ground and start operations in a less restrictive regulatory environment that the EASA has provided has been a great opportunity for Erit in general. We're very excited about where we are. It was a little bit of luck, but definitely happy to be here. Yeah,
luck and a lot of hard work.
Yeah. Yes.
Does people have a lot of preconceptions, like that it's drones are loud or dangerous in one way, that you will get something falling down from the sky in your head? Do you meet any types of that, or is it just like a big welcome? What's your...
I mean, we definitely, I would say most people are positive in general. We've flown in a number of parks and open testing areas where, people come up and ask us questions without any concerns for the drone. I mean, our drones in particular are designed with multiple redundant systems, parachute to prevent any, hard impacts if the systems were to fail. We have backup motors, right? We have a 6-motor Y6 coaxial setup. So if one were to fail, we do have enough thrust to maintain altitude and come down at a controlled rate of descent. I mean, safety across the, I think, space is definitely a key focus. So it's we do have skeptics, of course, that come up and say, hey, you know, if we do we understand one drone, but when you have hundreds of drones, right, in the sky, how is that going to be? And I think the answer is right now we're going to be focusing on more rural and suburban areas, right? But then as we move closer to urban centers where the population concentration will get higher, we have to, as a company and as a space, design quieter, smaller drones to be integrated into society, right? We already optimize for silence. It's by using bigger blades, you can really cut down on your noise profile. You can't even hear our drone when you're inside your car or your house. You have to be right underneath it or next to it in order to hear it. It's quieter than a moped by far. And we fly at altitudes, except during the delivery phase, where you can't hear the drone at all. So it's not really an issue.
No, and I guess that most people really understand today that we need to change and we need to find new ways of doing things, and we're actually gonna move vehicles from the ground that are actually there to up in the sky. And there you have, I think I read somewhere that it's always like you already have a big grid in the sky because airplanes already fly there. So if you lifted up all the vehicles on the ground to the sky, it's a completely different, it will still work because there's so many more dimensions in the sky than there are on the roads.
Absolutely. I think that's also one of the things we're seeing from just a technical perspective, right? Is there are a lot of companies that are focusing on ground delivery drones, which are great for their own, niche application. But they have a much harder problem set to solve when it comes to automation, right? You have to worry about people running in front, traffic, changing road conditions, all sorts of obstacles that are each individual isolated control systems, where when you're in the sky, there's not a lot you can run into, and most of the other objects in the sky have some sort of beacon or system that's transmitting their location. So it's much easier to automate in that case.
Yeah. So we are in a big transition, and there's a lot happening. How, Jimmy, do you think the public sector and where you work can help in making this transition more smooth and faster, maybe, because we need to change now and not in 5 years?
Yeah, I think this project that we actually pulled off is an example of how we can work. It was pretty ad hoc, kind of like when we started up this project. And also when it comes to the climate, as you said, we need to go from words to actually doing stuff and showing that we can evolve. Yeah, I think that is one thing, that we have to have some courage to try to actually do stuff. That's one thing, and of course, as I said before, setting up these test arenas where we can get a lot of players into the arena and we can make them talk about the different needs. Now we're talking about the drone companies, of course. They have needs. The entrepreneurs that are need the logistic solutions, they have needs, and so forth. And of course, the customers out there. In Halland, I would say the most important target group is the rural areas. Yeah, and I also think that we can work with the politicians, of course, to put it up on the agenda. This is actually a solution that can work. So we have to put more effort into this. And also, as we've been doing in this project, we helped Erit in this case to actually market this first flight. So that was really important for us to get some PR about what we're doing here in Halland. I don't think they know that in Stockholm, that we have all these innovation arenas, and so I think that is important as well, to do some really good marketing surrounding this.
Well, we have a question for you, Alexander and Jimmy, about what problem you are solving. Maybe you would like to start, Alexander?
Yeah, so the problem we've identified is that current approaches to last mile delivery and online food delivery are unsustainable. The idea or the current trends rather of exponential increases in online food delivery and e-commerce, right, mean that over the next decade, urban congestion and emissions from delivery vehicles are significantly going to increase, right? So if we can somehow offset that by carrying the packages that we can, so 86% of packages ordered online weigh under 2 kilos, which is, more or much less than the total payload of our drones, which is 4 kilos. We can offset a significant amount of that e-commerce delivery traffic, right? And not only that, it's very expensive from a business, a last mile perspective, because they have to hire, train, and maintain fleets of delivery drivers and their vehicles, right? It's so a low cost autonomous system would significantly improve their business cases as well. It's also an accessibility thing, right? As Jimmy was mentioning, one of the early cases that we identified is the archipelago, right? There are a lot of residents that are separated from the mainland and rely on 3 ferries a day to get their supplies. And if they need something in between those ferries, they either have to hope that the local store has it, or maybe a friend on the island does, right?
Yeah.
I think
that's
sorry.
No, sorry.
No, as that's definitely one of the use cases. And then of course there's the weather here in Sweden and other places in the world where if it's icy and snowy, do you really want to drive to the store and potentially risk, something happening on the way there? Or maybe you can hang out at home and have a drone drop it off, right? Like that's to me, that would be a much better way of receiving a package in the middle of the winter.
And I guess that's actually, there's a lot of, I think that's was a part of your already answered that part. But the follow-up question was urban food delivery is usually made by bike. Is the drones more sustainable than that? But then you already, like he says, that archipelago deliveries make sense. And maybe also, Jimmy, from your perspective, like from a region where we don't have that, like it's not all the people are not living in urban areas.
Exactly, and I mean that's you can compare it to archipelagos, but it's not. I mean we haven't the infrastructure inland in Halland isn't as good as along the coastline. So of course it's important to work with mobility inland as well. And as you said, Alex, I think when you get a lot of drones going, the costs will lower, and it will be a competitive advantage for those companies working with it in an early stage, and hopefully that will be in Halland, of course. So yeah.
And we have one comment as well. It says that we at the from Niklas at Unga Innovatörer, we are developing challenges for high school students that are about to develop creative and innovative solutions. With drone challenges before. Are you interested in us doing something with you? We have schools over Sweden. So that's an offer to you. I'll send the contact details
please do.
afterwards.
We'd love to
Fantastic.
speak with them.
Thank you, Niklas, for that, and thank you for Johan also for the questions. I'm thinking both like Umar and Alexander, you live it like you work in businesses that in such a transformational industry, like you don't know exactly what is going to happen around the corner, and still you're going to build something. You work with AI and like your service is actually changing. The intelligence is like building a lot of things. Like how is it? what is your biggest challenges? And I guess it's a lot of possibilities and a lot of fun as well, because the other day is never like the other day. So, but Umar, what would you say?
Yeah, it's a really healthy combo of everything. As you said, it's you have to dive into permits, you have to dive into drone technology, and then you also have to dive into the data science side. And you need to like hit the sweet spot in all three areas. Like you need to get like the long range permits so you can fly really long distances and gather high volumes of data.
Mm.
And on the drone tech side, you need to buy the right drones, buy the drones that are really like safe and reliable, and in that sense give you the quality of data as well when it comes to photos. And on the data science side, you need to set up your backend, which is secure, and you can store the data over there so the customers aren't really afraid about their data being taken by Russia or China in that sense. And and also just make sure that your data can be seamlessly integrated into the machine learning pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you can align these three areas of permits, drone tech, and the data science side, I think then you're hitting the sweet spot of building like a scalable drone AI business.
Yeah. What about all the competences that you will need in the future? I guess you need drone pilots, for example. You need data scientists. You need new types of competences and different people that maybe in traditional companies. Who becomes a drone pilot, for example?
Absolutely. So when we're looking at those two areas when we come to scaling our teams. So the drone operations front and the data science front. And right now, when it comes to drone pilots, we have this partnership with Ljungbyhed. It's a Swedish school based in Skåne. And they crank out like, I think 50 to 60 pilots each year. So it's really cool for us, in that sense, because if we want to scale, we just like grab a few pilots from there, and then, they've already been there, done that when it comes to the drone know-how, technology, permits. So it's really cool in that sense. And yeah, that's how we're scaling in Sweden.
Mm.
And on the data science front, we have like some networks here in Sweden. And then we also have like a bit of like a mini office / like workspace set up in India, actually.
Mm.
So we're going on these two fronts where we have like the high level operations of data science taking place in Sweden. And then we have like the other operational stuff of data science on the lower level taking place in India.
Mm.
So we're scaling on two fronts on the data science side. Yeah, so in Sweden and India right now.
Mm. Well, what are your thoughts about that, Jimmy? And for us living in smaller cities and so on, and the competence that we will need, I guess, remote access to competence is also something to work with. But we have the university here and so on. So do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I think, well, as you said, the competence surrounding these operations and these companies are, of course, really important. And I mean, again, I think just trying to get the test beds and the arena up that would attract people to this kind of projects, and that's what we're hoping for. And then, as I said before, the region can actually facilitate and work with the marketing part of it, and like trying to attract more people to the arena. But first of all, we have to get that arena, and this was just the first thing we did with Alex and his crew as a symbol, I would say. But it was really important for you guys, Alex, to get this milestone going, and then the next step is hopefully to get this test bed. And we're talking to the municipalities as well, and what kind of needs do they have. So we're inviting everyone to join the conversation, and that includes, of course, the different competences needed.
Yeah, great.
I just wanted to add that I think, at least from our perspective, a lot of what we're working on building is, and it will enable us to be decentralized in the future. So a drone operator or pilot won't have to be, next to the drone in order to maintain a connection. I mean, some of the test flights we were doing in Holland, we actually had part of the winching operation executed from Stockholm. Our over 4G. So the drones are already connected. It's just a matter of working out the system to be, more accessible in the future. It requires a very niche knowledge of our particular system, but as we develop, we'll make it more accessible so we can plug in, operators or pilots anywhere in Sweden who have the competencies that we look for.
Yeah, we have another question for you, Alexander. What will you provide, a drone delivery service for other marketplaces, for example, Foodora and Amazon, or will you build your own marketplace?
Right now, the fastest way to market for us is by partnering with aggregators that already have the relationships in place. So we see ourselves initially as just the drone delivery service provider. So whoever wants to partner with us, we will take their parcels, food, whatever have you, pick it up and drop it off wherever we can.
So what would you say is the biggest challenges that you're working with right now to get your business out faster and to do? Umar, would you like to start?
Yeah. So I think what we're doing right now is that we're heavily building our machine learning side.
Yeah.
And when it comes to scaling and also going to different, let's say, continents like the US, for example, it's really demonstrating what we can do with our tech on the machine learning side. Because, there are a lot of drone operators and drone partners in the US. I think last time we checked, there are 100,000 registered pilots in the US alone. So, the drone side is really covered. So right now we're really showing them that what we can do with our, machine learning side and how we're pretty good at that. And yeah, so in that sense, we're also talking to drone partners in the US, and we're also showcasing our machine learning to them as well, because for them, it's really attractive because if they can go to customers and say that they've partnered up with a machine learning company, then their services become more valuable for the customer, and we also do that. So
you're actually more of a machine learning company. Your position is more that than a drone company, actually. As you said before, the drone is the tool and what did you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is. The drone is just the source of data, basically.
Yeah.
But Sweden was a bit of a concept store for us in that sense, because we were able to be the drone operators ourselves over here.
Yeah.
Gather all that data. So we had to be the drone operator in the beginning so we could get the data, because getting data is really hard these days. Considering there are a lot of rules out like GDPR and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
As a machine learning company, having control over the data is very important. And you have to ensure the data is clean and it can be integrated into your machine learning pipeline.
Yeah. Alexander, what would you say? The challenges that you're trying to
I think our focus right now, so there's a certificate called a light UAS operator certificate, and that's our goal for the next year. Is right now we have to apply for permits in any new area we enter, and it requires acceptance and approval by the National Transportation Authority, regardless of what country you go into. But after you have maintained and gathered a lot of significant experience, you can apply for a light UAS operator certificate, which is basically a license to start operations anywhere within the EU, any EASA member states. So that's a big milestone and for scalability, right? We need that in order to be a scalable company. And then the other thing is just working on the actual scalability of the solution itself. Right now, we can build drones in-house and operate them locally, but as we grow, we want to be able to do that faster. And there are a couple of technology challenges that we're focusing on improving to enable that.
Great. So we're getting to the end, but just a couple of your last famous words of this discussion. So I'm thinking, so Jimmy, why should people that are interested in drones and like innovations and so on, why should they come to Halland? I think we need to.
The big question. I think first of all, I think when it comes to drones, I hope that we can be leading the way in Halland, of course, and trying to attract, as I said before, companies like Erit and of course Umar and his guys there working with drones. And I think that is just a state of mind. You have to work with it. You have to talk to your colleagues about it, and you have to try to build this movement. Talk to the politicians about it. I think it's important. And then why should you move to Halland? Maybe Alex could answer that question because it's been hanging out here a lot now lately.
Yeah, I was very impressed. The West Coast is gorgeous. The nature is incredible. You guys have a great food scene. I think a lot of a very open-minded kind of community as well. I mean, we've received amazing support from you guys. So highly recommend considering Region Halland for expansion in the future. Yeah.
And with that, I think we end the discussion. Perfect.
Right.
So thank you very, very much, all of you, for joining, and thank for those of you who listen in and for the questions we received and so on. If you have any more questions, you are more than welcome to contact any of the participants or myself at High Five. We will be able to do the matchmaking between you. So thank you very much, and I hope you will listen in to the two next discussions that we will have. We will talk with about battery and the electrification, and we're going to talk about anti-counterfeit. So it will be very, very interesting, brand protection and why that is important out from a sustainable and out from a business perspective. You're welcome to join in for the two next sessions as well. So thank you, and goodbye for now.